Greetings from Wyoming. OSY Guy here, and here is a supplement to my review of Pop! OS 1804. I put out that review a few months ago, and one of the things that I thought was a terrific design element of Pop! OS was its keyboard shortcuts. There are certainly a number of keyboard shortcuts built into the GNOME desktop environment, is what they call it. But Pop! OS refined those keyboard shortcuts, made them more consistent and more memorable by altering their keyboard combinations. And one of the ways that they made it more consistent was that they consistently used the super key. The super key is the Windows logo key for most users of keyboards, so anytime you see the word super showing up, that is the GNOME reference to that key. So I'm going to propose my own keyboard shortcuts here, and we'll see how easy it is to create your own shortcuts. We're going to be opening up the Settings app and going into Devices and then Keyboard. So I'm going to type in Settings here. And we're focused in on the keyboard section, so I'll push this over to the right side. I'll show you that shortcut here in a little bit. The first shortcut that I wanted to add was the home folder shortcut. That opens up the Files app, and so I just wanted to use F for Files. And so we'll start over as if this were not configured yet, so I'll hit the X button, and then I'll click on Home Folder, and this is where you can then hold down your combination of keys. So I'll hold down the super key and then press the letter F, and then I can click on the Set button, and we're done. That's how easy it is to assign a shortcut. So if I press Super F now, then you see that it opens up my file manager. I'm always opening up my web browser. In my case, my default web browser is Chromium, so I have installed Chromium, and when you assign the launch web browser shortcut here, that's going to open up whatever your default browser is, and I assigned it Super 1, so I'll just start over here quickly to show you how you do that. Hold down the super key, press the number 1, and set. We're all set to go with that. Now over on the left hand side, this is Chromium that's running. So if I press Super 1, I'm just going to open up another session of Chromium. In the past, I would go to the extensions.gnome.org. I'll just go to that right here so you can see what I'm talking about. And I would actually type in screenshot for an extension here, and then I would find the screenshot tool and I would add it, and it would become an icon up here on my panel. Sorry, I couldn't remember it. Panel up on the top, and then I could click on that and select. Take a screenshot of an area of the screen or whatever, and I would always do that to kind of make that convenient, because I can never remember the keyboard shortcuts. So we'll scroll down here to the screenshots section, and I'll remove my two shortcuts here for a moment. But you can see there are a number of keyboard shortcuts that are already configured in here. Control Alt Print, Shift Control Print, Control Print, Alt Print, Shift Print, Print. I could never remember. I'm always using one of two of these shortcuts. I'm always using Save a Screenshot of an area to Pictures and Copy a Screenshot of an area to the Clipboard. I would always use one of those two, and so I decided that I would reassign the keyboard shortcut here and use the super key, because that will allow me to remember it a little bit better. And so I'm going to click on Save a Screenshot of an area to Pictures, and I'm going to hold down the super key and press the Print Screen key, which it identifies itself as print here, and then I'll click on Set, and then we're done. If I press Super Print, Then I get the plus sign here where I can click and drag and highlight an area, and then as soon as I release the mouse, you get the sound of a camera shutter, and that screen just went into my pictures folder. And then I also like to do another assignment here, this copy. I'm going to use the control key because control, copy, clipboard, I could remember it that way. So I'm going to hold down again the super key, add the control key, and then print screen, and then set. And now I have two more memorable shortcuts. I know that they both are going to use the super key, so it'll be more consistent for me. I'll be able to use that much better. Now, if we scroll down to the very bottom, there's a section called Custom Shortcuts. And here are my custom shortcuts. Google Chrome is another browser I use heavily, and I decided to assign it to the number 2. So Super 2 opens up Google Chrome, but I'll show you what that dialog looks like. They ask for 3 things here. They just ask for the name that you want to call this shortcut, and then they ask for the actual command that runs the shortcut. So, and you can confirm the command by trying it out by opening up Terminal and typing in Google-Chrome. If you've installed Google Chrome and you type in Google-Chrome and hit the Enter key, then you should see Google Chrome suddenly running on your screen. That's the command that needs to be placed in there. And then, of course, I assigned it to Super 2. So Super 1 opens up Chromium, Super 2 opens up Chrome. There's another program that I use quite extensively. It's called KeyWeb. I assigned the super key and the letter K, and so that shows up like this. This is my KeyWeb password manager. It is a variant of KeePass XC. The KeePass XC program is installable from your Pop Shop or from your software center, but I like KeyWeb better. It's based on the same technology as KeePass X, but I like the interface better. It's a lot more convenient to use, so you may want to try that yourself. Incidentally, if you want to install that, it's not in Pop Shop, but you can go to keyweb.info and do that. And now its shortcut, I did find out that the capitalization had to be capital K, capital W for KeyWeb to make that to be usable. When I typed in the KeyWeb without the caps, it would not work. That's the way Linux is. The capitalizations are important, so remember that. Now I also add a function. I like to add in a shutdown command, and that's this one right here. And so I typed in my name for it is just called shutdown, but the actual command is power off. So if you want to ever try that out, make sure that you have quit out of everything and saved everything, because this is not a safe command. If you open up terminal prompt and you type in power off and hit the Enter key, your computer will unceremoniously shut down. It will not ask you, are you sure? It's not going to give you any options. That's the way I like it, actually. When I've decided I'm done using the computer, I have made sure that I've closed all the windows, saved every document, and so forth. So, and then I wanted to make sure to come up with a keyboard combination that was very easy to use, but not easy to mistakenly use. And so I pressed 3 command keys, the Control, Super, Alt keys, and then the down arrow. And that's my assignment for the shutdown command. I really like using that. I never have to go up to the top corner here and select the power off command from there. I also use Simple Scan. Its command is simple-scan, and I assigned Super G to that. So I'm going to show that to you. That may not make sense until you see it in action. I'll just slide down to a new workspace here and show you how I set that up. I'm always using it in combination with the file manager. So I hold down the super key and I press F, G. And so I open up both of those items. So I'm going to be scanning from the simple scan window, and I'm going to be saving those into folders in my home folder. So I'm always having these two windows open anyway, so that's how my workflow goes. We'll do a scan here so I can show you one extra thing. I'm going to show you another set of 5 keyboard shortcuts that I also add in, and I'll show you why it has become important. I'd like you to imagine here that this is a credit card receipt, Office Depot, and it's from this date, and it was for a printer, and $76.12. And so when I save this scan, I'm going to reference all of these items. And so if I press Control S to save, unfortunately, all the information that I was going to use to type in for the name of this scan is covered up. So I do have a keyboard shortcut for this. Instead of having to grab my mouse and drag the title bar, I'm going to press Super Alt left arrow. And that's how easy it is for me to move this around so that I can type in Office Depot, September 12, $76.12. I can name this document with all that information very quickly and easily. So how did I get that accomplished? I did that with another editor that's called dconf editor. I believe that probably stands for desktop configuration. This is something you'll have to go to your software center to locate. It's in Pop OS, it's called the Pop Shop. So if you go in there, just look for dconf. It's easy to install, and you'll be done. So I have that in place, and so we'll type in dconf, hit the enter key, and here's my result. I'll make this go to the center, and then I'll make it go to the right, and I'll show you how I did those things. Now, when you first open up the dconf editor, it shows up like this with 7 categories with folder icons. So I'm showing you the path to get to where we're looking to add in these keyboard shortcuts. So we need to go to org, and then to GNOME. So click on the GNOME folder, and then desktop, and then WM. I imagine that is Window Manager, and then key bindings right there, and then this is a spot where you can add in a number of shortcuts as you so desire. I add in 5 shortcuts. The center shortcut, move to the right, move to the left, move up, move down. And so I'm going to go to move to center here, and we'll open up that by clicking on it. And I'm going to take it back over to its unconfigured state before I made a change to it. The button that says use default value is turned on, and so then if I hit the check mark button here, that's the way it will actually show up the first time you try it. So we'll go to move to center, and then we're going to turn off the use default value here, and then we can type in our information down here in custom value. I'm showing you the syntax that is needed. So you do have to have everything enclosed in brackets and enclosed in quotation marks. And then all of your command keys are going to be surrounded by angle brackets. So since I'm going to be putting in 2 command keys, the super and the alt keys, those will be surrounded by brackets. And then the character will show up over here at the end. I'll explain that in a moment here as well. So let me start. I'm just going to start typing in on the custom value here. We'll do quotation marks, a couple of angle brackets, and quotation marks. So that's the format that we need. So I'll go back over to my first angle brackets and type in the super, and then type in Alt in this second set of brackets. And normally, if you're just going to type in a letter here, you simply type in the letter. So if it was going to be the letter A, then you type in A, you're done. You can't type in a space in here. You have to actually type in the word space. So I'll type in space, and that represents the space bar. If I press the check mark button on the bottom, that becomes the new shortcut. So if I press Super Alt Space, then it goes back to the right of the, to the center of the screen. Now I'm going to move it to the right with Super Alt right arrow, and I'll show you that section here. I'm going to go back to key bindings, and we'll just slide down far enough to see these 4 changed shortcuts. These are unconfigured shortcuts in Pop! OS. So you need to go to move to side E, that's for east, to side north, to side south, to side west, and you go into each of those, and I decided to put in Super Alt right. The right represents the that is the right arrow. The left arrow is represented just by the word left. The up arrow is represented by up. The down arrow represented by down. So since I have configured all 4 of those shortcuts already, I'll just go ahead and take it back to the center again. So Super Alt Space takes me to the center. Super Alt left, Super Alt right, up, down, center. So I can move this around that easily just by using arrow keys and the space bar. Super Alt is the consistent command part that puts this in place. So those are the keyboard shortcuts that I use. Makes life a lot faster, a lot more convenient, more efficient, and hopefully you'll find some of these commands to be usable for yourself as well. They certainly are easy to configure. So thanks for watching, and watch for new videos from OSY Guy. I'll scroll over to a screen of the Devil's Tower of Wyoming. Thanks for watching.